There are several different methods that you can use for brainstorming your topics. You can use pen and paper, index cards, sticky notes, or mind mapping software. Now you might be thinking, I'm not very good on a computer, but you can do it. Let's take a look at how easy this program is to use. Go to www.edraw.soft.com/mindmap.php. To the right of the page is the Download Now button. Click on the button and install the program by following the screen prompts. Once the program is done downloading, click on the desktop icon to open the program. To begin, we're going to click on the File button located in the upper left-hand corner. Select New and go down to Mind Map and over to the far right here. We're going to click on Create. And here you'll have your whiteboard screen. This is where all of your work will be done. What's really nice is you have these buttons up here that will help you design your program. And if you do not have the library showing here, you can click on this predefined library tab and choose Mind Map and click Mind Map Shapes. Your library will load to the left, which is your tools to create the mind map. So to begin, we're going to click on the main idea, and all you have to do is click and drag it over to the middle of your screen. And then to change the text, we're going to double click inside of it and highlight the text, and we're going to use the U.S. History course as our title. So what you would want to do is put your course title here and then click outside of the box. The next thing we're going to do to start the brainstorming is use the main topic, because everything that you think of towards your course is going to be considered a main topic at this point. So again, just click and drag over. Click and drag over, and you can go to the left or to the right of your title of the course. Then to change the topic, again, double click, highlight it, and type in your course topic. So if we're doing U.S. history, I might put Vietnam here, and so on and so forth, and we're going to continue to do this until we've exhausted all the topics we can possibly think of. Now it's time to look at all your topics and begin to code what topics fit together. At the bottom of the screen is a color palette. Since it's a history course, I'm going to code my topics by decades. So FDR, I'm going to make brown. And Barbie dolls, we're going to turn purple for the 60s. Kennedy was during the 60s, so it's going to be purple. Vietnam was during the 60s, that's purple. The Gulf War was during the 90s, so let's make that a nice blue. And we're going to continue doing that for all our topics so that they're placed in a nice, easy, color-coded group. Once the topics are coded, you need to look and see that the information is relevant to the course goals and objectives, and either eliminate or add to them. Next, you'll want to come up with a name for each of these groups. Make sure the name matches all of your topics. So in this case, I have broken up the topics by decades, and this first decade actually runs post-World War II up to 1950, so that was known as the baby boomers generation. The next one is the 50s, that's also known as the golden era, and then we have the 60s, was it a generation of peace? The 70s was the age of American culture, the 80s decade's known as the me, and the 90s was the merger decade. So once the groups are named, it's time to start writing your learning objectives for each group. Begin with the end in mind. At the ending of this unit, what will the student need to know? Each group should have 5 to 7 learning objectives. Do the learning objectives cover the overall course objectives? Can you cross out each overall course objective? If not, you are falling short. What are you falling short on? And where should they fit into the group? So for the baby boomers, I simply would go and add the objectives off to the side, and I can show you an example of this. What I did was I used another subtopic and I pulled it over and I titled it Learning Objectives, and then I came up with my 5 to 7 objectives. And I didn't write out all the objectives here, I just wrote the Bloom's taxonomy's measurable verb, but the full objective would be written here. And then once the objectives are done for the groups, you'll need to write the introduction, and the introduction should engage the students into the lesson. So when you write your introductions, think about the topics that relate to the students and will gain their attention, and you can put that right in here as well, and that gives you a pretty good course map of your topics, the learning objectives, and the introduction. And what's really nice on this is as you work, you can click on this negative sign and it collapses it into a plus sign, and vice versa, so you can work on each one without losing too much of your screen. And if you notice, I also added the overall course objectives here, and the course description would be placed here, and that keeps everything in a nice uniform map to look at and rearrange as necessary, simply by just clicking on it and moving it. So once you've completed the objectives and introduction, it's time to start building the content of the lesson. Think about how activities that you can do to measure whether the students meet the learning objectives. We'll discuss this more in the weeks ahead, but be sure to save your mind map as a PDF and upload it to the digital Dropbox. Click on File up here and Save As, and you're going to title the file name with your last name, first initial, underscore, assignment, mind map. And under Save As Type, we're going to choose PDF and click on the Save button. And then you'll need to upload that to the digital Dropbox.